Hello everyone and welcome back to the Brightworks and another match of Beyond All Reason. I hope you're having a fabulous Thanksgiving, and I sure hope that we're going to be watching a splendid game of Beyond All Reason together after you've enjoyed a nice warm meal, or maybe you're getting ready and you're starting to cook. Maybe somebody's watching this while they're cooking. That's a possibility too. I like to watch some YouTube videos while I cook. Maybe that's what you're up to. Is the game speed still broken? It looks like it. Anyways, today we'll be dropping into a match that was sent on over to me personally by one of the commanders in this match. This happened last match that I casted too, and it's because, yeah, I guess it sort of inspired folks to send in their very best games, which I'm absolutely thrilled about. If you have an awesome game of Beyond All Reason that you'd like to send on over to potentially be seen here on the YouTube channel, I do cast almost exclusively submitted games from the Brightworks Discord channel. There's a channel in there called Replay Submissions. Drop the link to the website that is your replay from the Beyond All Reason website, and I will, I mean, it's better than, more than better odds that I will end up, at the very least, taking a look at it, and very good odds that I end up casting it. So, all that aside here, let's go ahead and meet our Red Armada commander, who's spawning in the mid lane position here, going for a little bit of a variation of the tech build that we normally see, but as a commander in Armada plating. Very odd to see. It's going to be none other than Pro Inda Club. My first question whenever I'm watching this commander in the midsection is always, what are we going to go for as far as the tech goes, right? There's a lot of really powerful options, and you kind of set the pace of the entire early game as this commander. You basically decide what the tech will be, the prevailing tech on the front line, and you determine how impactful that's going to be, whether it's early eco rush, whether it's some sort of high damage unit like the Czars we always see, or the Banishers. There's a lot of variation there, so I'm curious what Inda Club's going to go for. Spawning on the front line, and I do love to see it whenever the blue commander is on the front line, it's Ains is here, the blue Armada commander playing some vehicles, going to be showing us some good old-fashioned Armada tanks. I do notice an orange air scout headed across here as well for the red team. Going to take a nice little peek over across the field to figure out exactly who is where and why. And it does look like the blue team is off to a ripping start here in the midsection. We have double Resbot. I would like to see these spread out here. Usually right-click and dragging to spread these out is a little more efficient. That way they're not both spending time moving around reclaiming as much. Or moving around, rather, and spend more time reclaiming. Ooh, are they going to make it out? Oh, one of them makes it out. The other one does go down, though. Big old rover battle here in the midsection as well. Looks like these rovers are tearing each other to shreds. And the Centurion will clean up the vast majority of the rest of that. Okay, nicely done. Centurion actually very nice on the front line here. As you can see, Tom Bunny, or Tom Bunny, I'm still not entirely sure. Tom Bunny, a commander we've actually seen in several casts now. Going to be, yeah, putting a Centurion on the front line. Kind of cool. That's a lot of HP that thing has. You can see soaking those Janus missiles quite nicely here. Actually able to brawl with the Janus really, really impressively. For 270 metal, it's comparable in price. Just a little bit more expensive. Oh, that's an unfortunate casualty right there. Kills one of the Resbots, but at the very least, yeah, it does manage to absorb one of the shots here from that Janus. Second one will take out the LLT, though, here. As long as the Centurion stays up and running, though, this can be really, really difficult to kill early on. A single Centurion in the front line can have much more of an impact early in the game, especially compared to later on. Ooh, barely doesn't manage to escape with the Resbot. That is a bummer. Tom Bunny now going to be forced to play this a little bit differently. Centurion's here to try and deny. Oh, we need to spread these out. Make sure that AoE gets as little splash on these as possible. Centurion here, super, super nice for absorbing those missiles, though. Just a ton of HP that they can deal with. They can tank. It means that all of a sudden here, the blue commander can't just brute force forward with the Janus. Actually has to think about this a little bit more strategically. And this is excellent micro right here from the pink commander. Keeping the Rocketeers and the Centurion separated, making those Janus fire away here at the Centurion rather than anything else. Ooh, blue commander moving forward. Uh-oh. Way overextension from blue commander. Both Centurion go down, but so does the blue comm. Need to spread these rocket bots out. Make sure those Janus don't get a miracle money connection. And it looks like they won't, at least not this time here. Bunny can always cloak and try and trick the Janus into firing and missing with a little cloak shenanigans, but at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter as long as that commander wreckage is reclaimed. And I'm going to say the commander that has Resbots is probably in a better position here to reclaim that wreckage than the one that doesn't. It's funny, we have a mirror matchup kind of going on here. We have Armada vehicles and Armada bots versus Armada bots and Armada vehicles. No Cortex on the front line here. I'm very excited about that. Typically, we would see core all over the place here. Not the case here today. Hey, we've got Armada in the mid here as well. Okay, this is going to be a full-blown Armada mid-game. Wow, we've actually got no... Huh. Would you look at that? We've got... Oh, interesting. We've got some Seekers coming up here, the hovercraft. We've got no Cortex on the front whatsoever. Okay. This is going to be much more of an Armada showcase than I really realized, but there we go. Lovely stuff right here. Yeah, these missile trucks are kind of annoying, but not really the end of the world, right? I mean, as long as you have a couple of pawns, you can sort of push into this. And even then, with the amount of Rocketeers that are up and running here, you just need a handful of Resbots to out-repair the damage that these do. And you're going to want those Resbots anyway, right? To pick up any of your units as you're pushing in. I love this right here. Yeah, I think this is a great spot to be here for the hot pink and yellow commanders. Janice firing away with those twin missiles, doing a ton of damage. I am Legion, playing as Armada, ironically. Trying to move in. Trying to make a little bit of ground here for the red commander to move those units in. Where did they actually... Ah, we adjusted course. Okay. These are going to instead head towards the Cyan base Shio. Something like that. Rocketbots distributing their weight across the entire surface of the isthmus here, so that we can start to blast down all the static defenses. It helps a lot, and it means that these ticks don't get sniped nearly as easily. Those ticks getting underfoot here to provide a bunch of vision is really, really nice. Super convenient, actually, here for the pink commanders. One LLT remains, but it really isn't the end of the world. Now these rocket bots can push forward. We just need those res bots. Brilliant little run by right here. Just a handful of Seeker, but they managed to make it into the back line, and all of a sudden the red commander does have the eco to go for T2, as well as ravaging the right-hand side player in Cyan. Okay. Shio now left with very little economy. As the metal extractors fall, the wind turbines will pop here as well, and after all is said and done, it leaves very, very little in the actual laboratory here to deal with any of this. Yeah. There's the build power, but we don't have the back end for it. No mexes, no energy infrastructure. Looks like the geothermal will fall here as well. This is a really rough spot here for Shio. Gonna try and rebuild on the front back. But it's not like those Seekers are done yet anyway, so those can move forward here. Oh, we're not going to kill the con up there. That's a little bit of a bummer. Yeah, probably should have gone for the kill on the con up here. Slow things down even further. A couple of Resbots sneaking over to try and resurrect this. But very, very nicely done. For all intents and purposes, the red commander has just won the game here for the brown commander. All that Mechwick needs to do is send these frigates in over here, take an even halfway decent fight against all this, eat up all that metal, and turn it into a bunch of constructors to build tidal generators out in the ocean, and a bunch of E-converters as well. Now, we do have a submarine moving in. Loads of torpedo launchers to guard the mexes, so that's quite nice, but subs can kind of snipe those, fire their torpedo and retreat. Not here to say that that's gonna be enough to save Shio here, but it certainly is a start. And there's not anything to defend in the backline here either. This submarine's gonna go and contest as it kills the build power at the very least, and of course some of the other stuff here as well. Commander has made landfall. Okay, super annoying right here as Kane will be moving in, the purple commander. Moving in now to try and capture this area. Oh, there's an LLT. He's going to try and cloak in to kill this LLT. No radar over here, though, so LLT doesn't even try. Kane is now tearing apart this back line. Okay, tit for tat here so far. We've got a little hero. Hero Khan has built a flamethrower turret right here, but apparently it can't pop its head up high enough to actually do anything. That's just hilarious. What are we going to do about this? We have the T2 constructor here, trying its best. Ticks being sent over in this direction, but LLTs are coming up. We're going to need more. This is a slightly bigger commitment. Now we're going to need more to deal with this. Fat Boy, meanwhile, has completely turned around the midsection of this map. I think all that metal went back to the blue team. They actually managed to extract the commander corpse as well as, I mean, basically everything else here. Mexes need to be captured. That would be really, really nice here by Insomniker, the... Insomniker? It's like Nike, but anyway. The Lavender Commander. Guarding the Fat Boy and stepping forward here slowly but surely with those rocket bots. And the Red Commander says need spam, and I think I tend to agree. The Fat Boy's feeling quite nice, and it got its spam. There it goes, blasting away at the laboratory here. It can just leisurely whittle down this area. Rocketbots can't really engage. There's not really anything that these can do. Starlight is now out. That might be the solution here. Oh, but it's just so difficult to get these units to get in position and then have the vision. Loads of Centurion available here. I believe these were going to be used for keeping this away. Keeping that safe. Not going to be the case here anymore. Starlights, though, do change things. So Red Commander's gone for that AGO, the T2 Vehicle Lab. We're going for some beamers here in case any ticks leak through. And now we're going for Starlights and Mauser on the front line. Jaguar's actually coming out here now. Not bad. What's our Blue Commander up to? Looks like we are just upgrading those mexes with the T2. We've got a very similar, I mean, yeah, mirror matchup here. So we are also going to see the Starlights coming out of the lab right here of the Green Commander. Okay. We actually already have 2 for the red team, 3 for the green. The Brown Navy had the opportunity to win this. It's still an overwhelming amount of forces here in Brown. If we can take out the Destroyer, that's a huge help, obviously. Sinking that so you can freely send res subs and whatnot underneath. Forward Laboratory, wow. Brown Commander with the very aggressively placed forward laboratory. We're starting up a rear laboratory as well. Well, that's just wonderful. Yeah, Mexes went down here to that submarine. You can see it dead in the water right there. What a bizarre match. Starlight escorted by the Jaguar is wonderful composition building. Radar and radar jammer would be the next most important thing to build up here. Oh, we're not focusing on the Jaguar. Uh-oh, we're not focusing on the Jaguar. Oh, yikes. Those Jaguar got a fabulous trade right there. Oh, he snipes the Commander, though. Commander pops and takes out a whole bunch of that backline as well. Now the Jaguars in red are moving in. Oh, Bombers just trying to tickle away whatever they can here. Starlights, again, so difficult to deal with. Once you kill them, though, their explosion is devastating. Destroyer's still up and running here, so that Commander is potentially at risk. The forward lab is kind of cooking, though. I kind of love it. Lightning tank shut down here as well. Mass medium tank coming out from the Green Commander. Okay. I have a feeling we're just trying to put meat on the field. Not really worried about composition building or whatever. We're just trying to put any amount of meat on the field. Any amount of metal to stack into the midsection to make it difficult to deal with. Rocketbot's eventually forcing the Purple Commander back, who was killed. All that metal, though, did go back to Kane. C. Kane. T2 Lab coming up and running right here. I don't mind that whatsoever. What we usually want to see here, though, is about 10 of these T1 constructors going out. And you just want to cover this entire field in tidal generators. Just, I mean, a ridiculous number of these tidal generators, once you win the Navy, of course. And then once you do that, you have enough energy and E-conversion to easily pivot into T2, and you can afford it. You have the energy to produce it. It works out really, really nicely. Again, you don't want to do that until you have the metal reclaimed from your opponent's armies or navy, so you have to win. But that's an excellent way to step up into T2 Navy. Keep that economy scaled as well. It took a little while, but Mechwick did eventually manage to win this Navy lane. Of course, with tremendous assistance here from the Red Commander, who managed to snipe that Cyan economy very early on, which is nice. Huge hit to the exponential scaling there. Tom Bunny moving in. We have the Stormbringer bombers. Whirlwind bombers, rather. And Commander moving in to threaten the D-gun as well. Okay, not bad. Starlight's definitely wasting their shots here. They should be prioritizing those medium tanks. I just don't think there's vision. There is now, so they should be focusing on that medium armor. You can see, whenever they do fire away, they do take out so much value per shot. I am Legion trying to escape right here. No LLTs being built, oddly enough. The Commander's just on hold fire. Being shot to death by a pawn. Okay. Pawn and Centurion managed to, like, well behind enemy lines, managed to just sneak through and kill the yellow Commander. Maybe we were, like, intentionally throwing that away to just, I don't know, get the metal out of it or something. That was a weird moment. That shouldn't have happened. Oh, these bombers have been so irritating. Not normally how we see bombers used as, like, a harassment tool like this, but it is super irritating to deal with. Like, all of a sudden, air has to be in the midsection of the map. Otherwise, these units just get destroyed. You know what the other solution is we just use this fancy schmancy T2 lab we had, at the very least. The vehicle lab has gone away, but we could have used that lab to build an anti-air truck, which is very, very nice. Quite powerful. T2 lab up and running here for the Brown Commander. The forward T2 lab up and running here. Backline T2 mexes are up and running here as well. I'd love to see a fusion reactor. If you're not going to go for mass titles, you need to go for a fusion reactor at the very least. Titles and fusions have relatively similar efficiencies, around the 23 title speed mark. So title's technically a little less efficient here. But for the fact that you can start scaling with them so much quicker. Wow. Okay, Vapod. Guess I know who's going on my ignore list. Did you know you can do that? You can ignore players that are toxic to you. You just right-click on their name. You can't do it in-game, but you do it out of the lobby. Right-click on their name. Easiest ignore ever is a ping spammer. Especially if you're not going to put some chat behind your ping. Oh, Starlight's overkilling a little bit here. The pod wants to push in. This is like the perfect army to stop this, though. Lightning tanks do just enough damage to bring these medium tanks down to a one-shot kill. Means that these Starlights can actually do huge, huge work. Still, though, it is a lot of metal on the field, which is exactly what we were intending. Starlight derping out there as it tries to pick a target. Okay. A very strong-headed, Cortex-like approach to pushing this front line. Just throwing anything at the wall and seeing what will stick. And I don't think it's worked out too tremendously here. Pitbull turret to assist. It's another big burst of damage right there. Pawn Swarm moving forward now here from the Red Commander, adjusting appropriately to the conditions on the front. And just like that, the Red team has managed to absorb a tremendous amount of metal into their section of the map. Alright. Res are... He called for a res. I think a reclaim probably makes a lot more sense. Not really a good reason to resurrect a bunch of T1 medium tanks and dead pawns. The Starlights are quite nice, but aside from those, and only those, doesn't feel like there's really much use. What a close match. Another submarine! No way! The Cyan Commander is still staying in this game, one submarine at a time. Managed to resurrect it? Do we have a res sub out somewhere? I have no idea where this res sub even could have come from, but somehow we've resurrected the submarine here. And now it's firing at the base again. I mean, what world are we living in where we can't just start up a coastal defense or a torpedo launcher or anything? We're gonna go for a submarine. An actual, honest-to-goodness submarine. The eel. Okay. Oh, weird. So strange. Platypus coming out here, by the way, for the Cyan Commander. I do love that a lot. Platypus are super, super good. Often underrated, because their little laser beam seems kind of wimpy, but they are actually very, very good. We are actually resurrecting, though. I'm so surprised. Pitbulls are being marched forward here, too. We're just leapfrogging the Pitbulls forward, which is neat. A couple of res subs bots reclaiming, which is what I would have imagined we would have gone for. I guess we're just trying to, again, keep metal on the field here. This is a beamer turret with a story. The amount of corpses littering the field around this beamer turret is dynamic storytelling if ever I've seen it. Purple Commander went very aggressively into that capital ship here. We do have the good old-fashioned Black Hydra coming up and running here, just moments away from completion. There it is. And just like that, this army, or this navy rather, just got a whole lot scarier. Yep, suddenly these frigates have a reason to be afraid. Although I will say, one capital ship on its own, I don't think this is enough frigates to kill it. But it isn't actually as menacing to a big swarm of units like this as it may seem. The number one thing that we're seeing right here is that it actually absorbs a bunch of the shots, the fire from these frigates. Meaning that these Maelstrom actually, or Brimstone rather, actually have a chance to burn away at a bunch of these T1 frigates. So that's really, really nice. The heavy laser towers do put in some good work. Okay. Several thousand metal available now here for the Purple Commander. We are going to start reclaiming that, I hope, anyways. Yeah, about 4,000 metal there. Frontline is disintegrating once more. The Resbots did actually resurrect. I'm so impressed. I would have figured that we would have just reclaimed all this, but I guess not. T2 mexes have come up here as well. That's 17 metal per second going back to the Red Commander, who is still just on the AGO. Has not scaled up quite yet. APHIS up and running here for the Maroon Commander, who's just going for those T1 E converters, those super OP T1 E converters. We have double air in the backline here for the blue team. So we have cyan and, or rather we have powder blue and seafoam green both going for the exact same air lab right now. Another big frigate wave. This time the platypus are out here to try and help against this. And I think it will be more than enough. Definitely putting in some serious hurt on this capital ship, whittling it down percent by percent, but not an efficient fight whatsoever. And as more and more of these brimstones come up, it's just never going to work out properly. Those brimstone are... they're kind of a weird unit. They're one of those units in this game that doesn't really... it's very, very good against the lower tier, so it's good against T1. It's not nearly as good against T2. AGO pops right here. Seafoam Green Commander doing a wonderful job actually pulling some of these bombers away, not losing all of them as bombing, well, in bombing the AGO. Little early start to the economy right there for the Orange Commander. Does good shot down. Fighters sweeping across this way will clear the rest of this out. Nicely done by the air player. Minimizing the damage. I mean, loss of the fusion is a bummer. Loss of the AGO is a bummer. Hand over a couple of wind turbines and all will be pretty well. Oh, there goes the AGO over there. Messenger missile boat firing off into the distance. Mechwick holding onto this coastline for dear life. So much army has been built right here. Meanwhile, platypus. More and more streaming their way in. A Armada game to a T, as we do see more and more of these platypus coming in. The only thing we haven't seen is the good old-fashioned tumbleweed. Yeah. I do love me some tumbleweed gaming. Second APHIS completed right here for the Maroon Commander. The double T1 laboratory is a little bit suspect here. Capital ship eventually going to be able to take care of all this. And now that this capital ship is up, this actually becomes a huge problem. All of the coastline is extremely vulnerable at this point because of that capital ship. We're resurrecting again. Whatever it is about these top tier players and resurrecting, I really don't understand it. I would have figured that reclaiming this some 19,000 metal from the front line would have just been worth it, just flat out, but I guess not. I guess having this stuff is better. Pitbull's here to stop this little run by a platypus. Very nicely done. Killer D-guns here from Shio as well. Cleaning up. Yeah, cleaning up all this. Really, really nicely. Keeping that cyan T2 laboratory up and running. I mean, if you lose this beach, then it's basically game over. So you've got to be so careful about that. Karganeth now coming out of the backline laboratory, and you know how I love them. Karganeth are by far one of my favorite units in the game. Love this little fusion economy that we've got scaling up back here, by the way. This is the Lavender Commander who's playing up on the front line here, and it's just got a little T1 laboratory spamming out units, but also has this fusion economy growing in the back. What a cute use of resources, right? I mean, it's not growing quickly. It's every couple of minutes, but that's exactly the pace that you're looking for, because you do have to dedicate so much force to the front line to keep this up and running. Really wouldn't mind a couple of resbots, though, again, to reclaim, to reclaim a whole bunch of this. Double capital ships at this point here. Going to be more than enough to overpenetrate those shields. Leaking plasma through the barrier. And into the backline. Boom goes the Keeper. Build power. And the T2 lab will be very shortly hereafter to follow. Starlights. Chain reacting. The front line goes back to the blue team. Capital ships so powerful. When you see capital ships in a game and they're just not killing anything, they're like firing at the same dead spot for 10 minutes in a game, it breaks your heart, because this is their superpower. They take stalemates or even bad looking conditions for your team and turn them into winning ones. That's exactly what the blue team needed right here. Things were looking a little bit dire. EMP missile fired off now. Okay. What are we targeting? Oh, we're gonna... oh. Okay, well, we hit a giant clump of resbots. I guess that slows them down a little bit. We are finally reclaiming here, as T3 is on the field. Maybe that's the move. Like, we don't want to waste any of the metal until T3 is on the way. And then after that, it's like, okay, all holds barred, just eat up as much of the metal as possible. Don't worry about the efficiency. Make it all into T3 units. Maybe that's the idea. I could see that. Karganeth are so much better than literally everything else out here on the field today. We've got a nuclear missile coming up and running here as well. Supreme Isthmus players, they just can't help themselves to a little thermonuclear shenanigans. I understand. It's cathartic to land a nuclear missile in the enemy base. There really is nothing that feels quite so enthralling, so thrilling. Razorback with no power here. Hot Pink Commander has been abandoned. As far as the energy goes anyway, we don't really have enough energy scaling to start handing out a whole bunch of these APHIS. We're going for Marauder spam. Okay. This can be devastating. These Marauder are coming up, looks like one every, I don't know, 5 seconds or so. Super, super quick spam of Marauders. Capital ships firing away here. They have killed the Hot Pink base. We have the Razorback handed over here to another player just so that it can at the very least fire its guns. Capital ship out for the Brown Commander, by the way, also shelling away. It becomes a issue of scouting. And there we go. Popping the wind turbines over here is fantastic. Laboratory over here has been dead a good long while, so hopefully we don't just waste too much time shooting at that. There's plenty of juicy targets. It's just a matter of finding them. That's why that vision is so important. Oh, Red Commander has been given a bunch of Marauder. Not sure why. I feel like we really should have given those to Hot Pink or somebody else who's, like, dead. Paralyzer has 6 missiles charged up. Paralyzers can also fire pretty quickly, so you can launch these missiles in fairly rapid succession. It means that you can pretty much chain connect them against, like, say, a bunch of encroaching Karganeth. Another one of those units that can be a absolute tiebreaker. A stall killer. Paralyzing static defenses, just turning those off for, I think it's like 20 seconds or something. It's a ridiculous stun. Vanguard firing away, the Marauder, meanwhile, making beachhead. Really surprising, yeah. Very, very surprising to see these Marauder going across the map to the sea that was lost, effectively, here for the blue team. They are going to find the purple base, actually, which is quite nice. I mean, that makes it a little bit awkward to just stand around. Yeah, capital ships have actually been fully retreated over here to deal with this. Wow. Okay. Oh, OP Marauder Micro sneaking into the base right here. Oh, it's eaten by the turrets. Nicely done by the Purple Commander. Well, gunships in the air, too. Pulsar comes up to defend as well, and okay. The Marauder are dealt with. That's some good crisis management right there. Didn't actually take nearly as much damage as they probably might have. If all those Marauder had committed over here, probably the build power would have gone down at the very least. Suddenly the Purple Commander is clenched up a little bit. That's sort of a moment where you're like, oh, maybe I vastly underestimated the potentials here. Didn't promptly prepare for any kind of amphibious attack. And suddenly you end up with a whole bunch of Marauders in your backline. That can be a really unfortunate moment. Scaling some more economy here. We've switched to Cortex for efficiency's sake. They're just a little bit better. Core T2 Air is really actually probably the main reason why we've done that. Going for some E-converters here as well. T1 E-converters, very epic, very powerful. Ridiculously efficient. Catapults firing away. What is that? Oh, torpedo bombers. Oh, okay. Yeah, handful of torpedo bombers. Showing their card a little early here. Oftentimes, the earliest torpedo bombers can kind of get away with sniping some of the bigger boats just by... Did we reclaim them? Where did... Oh, no, there they are. Thought the Purple Commander reclaimed the boats. I was like, that is a gamer move right there. Hardly anyone ever reclaims their units. It's so efficient, especially these T1 units that are just trash at this point. Reclaiming these is super, super efficient. Sometimes you need some T1 just as, you know, to keep things alive and whatnot, but generally speaking, you want to get up that tech tier as quick as possible. Dump that metal into better units or more eco so you can make better units. Down goes the yellow production center. The front line has lost its main Centurion producer, so that's a bummer. I will say the Red Commander has a nice handful of T3 units. All these have been gifted. These were not produced by the Red Commander. All these were handed over here by Maroon. Lovely job of handing these units over, right? You don't need the glory of getting the kill. You just need your teammate who's actually paying attention to this line to be able to micro all these units around. And, well, that's exactly what we've got right here. Club was absolutely paying attention. He's been fighting this front line the entire time, is well aware of what these commanders are doing, what they've each gone for. Just like that, the Marauders have split up quite nicely, a three-way indeed, as down goes literally every single base in the backline. Karganeth sneaking out of the pond here, going to find their way into the background. This Indicani. An interesting word there. Definitely word choice of all time. The front line has been cracked wide open. Marauder popping the build power right here. Beautifully done. Down goes all those construction turrets. Seriously slowing down the build power here of the powder or Seafoam Green Commander. A little bit is left over so we can rebuild. More and more Marauder making it into the back though. We have a oh, we have OP abductors. Ah, okay. Abductor's very, very good. They can shut down big pushes like this with their EMP beams if they don't miss. Yeah, that's a heartbreaker, watching those miss like that. Marauder sneaky beaking around in the back line here, and there's literally nothing holding this front line together at this point. Red team has absolutely ran away with it here. Steve X calls the resign vote. We're one vote away on it. OP Marauder micro indeed. Yeah, somehow we had two air players, but it actually didn't end up being an advantage. The T3 ground units, T3 bots, made way more of an impact here. At this point, you could just go for a ton of Razorbacks, and we do have a ton of Razorbacks. 8 Razorbacks in total. These can just waltz forward and get the kill on the rest of this front line here. This base does not stand a chance against 8 Razorbacks. The blue team is in a dire way. They need some sort of extreme comeback mechanic in order to get back into this game. Red team now with, how many commanders is that? 3 commanders in total. Blue did actually, did we resurrect a commander somewhere? I guess not. I guess we've just got 3. The Flying Pancake, Shio. Where's our 3rd commander? I don't see it. Oh, way in the back. Steve X. Okay. Man, those things can reach far. Dang. Those missiles are so good. Purple Commander Kane absorbing it all. Folding all the units here into Kane just to try and get some value. I will say, from this spot right here, capital ships can actually shell away and hit this base. There was absolutely the potential for these capital ships to move over in this direction and kill this base over here. Unfortunately, didn't happen. It's one of those things that you can see in retrospect and it's plain as day, but it's very, very difficult to remember in-game. When APMs are stretched and when you have a lot of other things to think about. What is going on here? That is the weirdest little glitch I've ever seen. Apparently these are, because they were paralyzed, I don't know what's going on. Their turret should be up here, but it's not, so they're... Huh. That is a super, super weird little glitch. Okay, yeah, look at that. Yeah, the Razorbacks and everything are trying to hit them up here, but that's not actually where their head has moved to, despite them being able to fire. What a weird... That it has to do with the way that they were paralyzed, I'm certain of it. That is a very, very funky little glitch, but okay. Capital ship now firing away over here. Wind turbines starting to fall. The Karganeth have been pumped out in serious numbers, but there's just not enough of them, unfortunately. Air takes up so much energy and it's draining hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of metal out of this team every single second. Nuclear bomber's been set up here. A couple of EMP bombers complementing a nuclear bomber can be the difference maker. Yep, Marauder spread out quite nicely. Nuclear bomber goes down to the anti-air. And just like that, the Marauder managed to make it into the back line once more. Anybody that's curious about that micro, though, by the way, you just draw a circle. You just grab all your Marauder and draw a big circle like this. They'll turn and spread out. Seafoam Green Aphis deck does pop here. Steve X in a whole bunch of trouble. We are hiding Kane over in the corner. Yeah, Steve X will go down. Kane will be very shortly here to follow. Oh, maybe. Oh, maybe not. Might be a survivor. Looks like it won't matter. Blue team throws in the towel, and the red heroes manage to take the victory. What a good little showcase of how adaptive you should be playing this game in the tech spot here. Indy Club absolutely making a wonderful name for himself, showing off some serious skill. And I absolutely love to see when the Red Commander can show us how to play the game, rather than how not to play the game. Thanks a ton for watching, folks. And if you did enjoy, of course, feel free to like and subscribe, all that good jazz. But more importantly than any of that, I sure hope you have a wonderful day of eating food and having good times and being thankful and all that good stuff. I'm very thankful for all of you. And it's why I hope to see you again in the very next match of Beyond All Reason. Peace out, everybody.